Hello folks, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. So in this one I'm going to talk about the vote that was had for the inquiry that people were calling for regarding certain events that took place in many towns throughout England where basically young British white girls, for the most part, I believe that there was some Sikh and Hindu girls involved as well. So these girls were targeted by predominantly Pakistani men, and they were very, very, very seriously abused in indescribable ways, which I can't really go into on YouTube because I don't want the video to get banned. But unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there was calls for a further inquiry to try to get more information and try to get to the bottom of the sheer scale of the cover-ups, the fact that local authorities knew about this but actively chose to ignore it. The police knew about it but chose to ignore it. And in actual fact, demonised the families of the victims in some cases that went through such a horrific ordeal. So the vote was to call for this inquiry was rejected. Kier Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party and the Prime Minister of Great Britain, actively instructed his MPs to vote down this motion calling for this inquiry. Now, see, to be honest, right, I don't really know what to say about it because I expected it, to be honest. I mean, Labour, come on, it was the Labour councillors that were the majority of the councillors that were in these towns and cities that were that this event or events were involved in. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's disgusting. It's horrible. It's disgusting. I mean, how could you block an inquiry into people want to know what's happened in these towns and cities. They want to keep their daughters safe, for goodness sake. And Labour have just been like, no, 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 no. Either because they believe it will upset their voter base, the ethnic minority, the Muslim voter base will reject them, or maybe they think the inquiries that have been adequate. I certainly don't. And as someone called the Black Belt Barrister, who I follow, is a barrister of England and Wales, pointed out, a new inquiry can run alongside previous inquiries that have already happened. The recommendations for these previous inquiries can still be implemented alongside a new inquiry, so that they're mutually exclusive. They don't affect or influence one another. So there's no reason why there can't be a further, more thorough inquiry. Try to turn over every stone, leave no stone unturned to actually get to the bottom of the complete failure of so many institutions and government bodies that allowed the mass abuse of these girls to take place, and either actually knew about it and ignored it, or basically that's it. They were too scared to be called racist in a lot of cases. Even my local MP, who's a Labour MP, I know the guy personally. I've never voted Labour. I support Scottish independence, so I used to vote SNP before they went off the rails, but now I support Alba. But anyway, that's not the point. So this guy, I know him personally, right? He's a good guy, right? He's a decent guy. He's got a daughter of his own. And I just checked online because you can actually check how your MP voted on this issue. And he voted no. Now, either that's because he doesn't believe an inquiry would do any good, or it's not really related to Scotland where I live. or he succumbed to the pressure of his beloved leader, Kier Starmer, who explicitly told his Labour MPs that they were to vote this motion down. So either way, I don't know. It's disgusting, to be honest. It's beyond the pale disgusting. People have a right to know what's happened. I reckon that if there was an inquiry and it was to actually do its job properly, it would highlight a whole bunch of people who were like actively grossly negligent in their positions, didn't do their jobs, actively worked against the native people of this country in favour of ethnic minorities so that we don't want to inflame tensions and things like that, actively suppressed reports and stories that came out regarding the absolutely despicable behaviour of these Muslim men. So I mean, the whole thing. I mean, this country at the moment it's a disgrace. So it is. It's an absolute. It's not even to call it a joke is an insult. Um, but like I say, I'm not surprised. So I don't know. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Personally, I believe that not only should these perpetrators be in jail, but there's a lot of people that like Labour MPs, other MPs, social workers, police that ignored things. All these people need to be found out and they need to face some sort of punishment, whether that be stripping them their pensions, jail time, fines, strip them of assets. I don't know, but the, these people need to be cleared out and they need to be punished accordingly for allowing this abuse to happen for so long. And I mean, this has been going on, this whole thing now is it's probably over 25 years old, maybe older. And it's been highlighted again by people like Elon Musk. But basically, Kier Starmer's come out and said, oh, yeah, it's just a fantasy of the far right. See all this whole, like, for the Prime Minister of our country to say that anybody that's concerned about this issue want to protect their daughters, young white native girls, that they are far right. So anybody that doesn't agree with Labour and its policies, they're far right. You get any concern at all about mass immigration, you're far right. You get any concern about Rachel Reeves' budget, you're far right. This has to stop. This is such a false dichotomy, this whole left-right thing, that has to stop. There are legitimate concerns that need to be addressed here and they're not being addressed and people are not being taken to task. But, well, I don't know. I mean, how much can the general public actually take before they finally snap? And this is terrible, but I can actually see, I don't encourage this at all, right? I'm not a violent person. I've never been a violent person. I've never been involved in even like fighting or anything like that. I've always had a clean like, track record at school. Didn't get involved in any fights, nothing like that. But I'd be seriously worried that individuals are possibly going to start taking things into their own hands if they don't believe that their local authorities, the government, are actively working against them, demonising them, and not protecting their daughters and things like that. I'd be worried that people will take matters into their own hands, and that's definitely not a route that we want anybody to go down. Absolutely not. And nobody comes up with any solutions to this. Nobody has any solutions to it. There's people like Douglas Murray. I listened to a recent clip of his on the Spectator thing on here, and he makes a lot of good points. But like I've said about him previously, he doesn't give any solutions whatsoever. And I'm not a politician. I don't know what the solution is. I'd imagine that things like the deportation orders that needs to step up, that needs to be ramped up majorly. We need to get rid of these people, regardless of what they think about community tensions or whatever. These people need to be toughed out of our country after they've served their jail sentences or whatever else, regardless of them claiming that if they go back to their home country they'll be tortured or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't care. They need to be got rid of. They need to be get rid of. We need to deport them. The deportation orders, they need to be more widespread. There needs to be a major crackdown on this. Community tensions be damned. So, like I say, I don't have any further solutions. Certainly none that I can mention on here. That won't result in problems. Do you know what I mean? So, anyway, let me know what you think. But it's just utter contempt for the people of our country, and it's so blatant now. I mean, just how much more can people take? But I mean, we seem to be just lying down and taking it so far. But like I say, I seriously worry that things like the Southport incidents, the riots and all that, I believe that things like that are probably going to be a more regular occurrence unless the government actually starts doing its job, the police start doing their job and start protecting the actual citizens of our countries, and stop all this nonsense about favouring minorities and not wanting to inflame tensions because of certain elements of their groups that behave appallingly, but they don't want to be seen to tar the whole group with the same brush. The law needs to be applied equally to everyone, regardless of their creed, religion, whatever else. So start doing your jobs, politicians, police, social workers. Stop favouritising groups of people and actually do your jobs and protect people. Thanks for watching.